Hello, Joe.
Hello, Sarah.
Ready for a cup of sunshine?
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm.
So, Joe, first of all, welcome again to Live Boldly with Sarah. This is starting to be Live Boldly with Sara and Joe, the podcast where you learn so much about growth and professional and personal work. What more could you want?
Right.
Especially on a Sunday night. We're doing this again on a Sunday night. So, everyone, grab your journals because this is going to be another fun episode. So I was trying to figure out one more time. I'm like, gosh, what is it that we want to talk about? And then I messaged you and I said, I figured it out. Let's talk about how do you know that it's the right time to leave? When do you know it's the right time to leave? Either your job, your career, a relationship. We spend so much time in a space where we end up later on going, oh, I wish I would have done that so much sooner. And you have left different spaces, and I have left different spaces. Personally, I've stayed too long. I have chosen, I guess you could say, to not see things as they are because it was too hard. It was harder for me to leave than it was for me to stay in a sucky situation. And that means it was really hard to leave because it was a pretty sucky situation. And this is more
Right.
than once. This is more than once. And so, when do you find enough is enough and it's time to move on? And then I just want to let everybody know it's so much fun on the other side.
Right. It's healthier,
It's so
happier.
much healthier. It's so much happier. So, do you want to add anything into that before we start jamming? Because we're going to give all of you six takeaways, six things to note. When these hit, it's time for you to really take a calm, a serious look and ask yourself, okay, is it time for me to leave? So we're going
Right.
to give you six takeaways. Is there anything you want to talk about really quick before we jump in or
Oh,
anything?
just getting feedback. The few times I've been on with you, it's nice to get feedback. So if there's something we are saying you disagree with or don't like or an approach, let us know. And if it's something you like, please share.
That's great. Thank you for adding that. Because we've been getting some great comments. We got
Yeah.
one from across the pond last time.
Yeah.
Couple. There, it's been super fun to listen and to get the feedback from people. So yes, please drop into the comments. We are on YouTube. My station is on YouTube at Sarah Schultenkranz, and so go into YouTube and watch the full episode and watch us drink out of our super fun cups that we have on a fun Friday Sunday night. So, okay, so let's talk about these takeaways.
Right.
Do you want to start with number one?
Mm.
How do you know when it's time to leave? Give us some takeaway.
Give you some takeaways. The
Give us
first
number one.
one, I guess the biggest one, I'll just start with the biggest one is just trust. Trust in anything, relationships, work. Once trust is broken, especially on a more serious scale, it's really hard to recover from that. On a relationship, I feel like you're still going to hold that resentment. You're always going to be reminded of that trust that was broken. And I think people that have it broken, then they question their partner. They have a hard time settling in. And it's very toxic for the relationship. And at the workplace, if it's broken, especially between a boss or a higher level, and it can go both ways. Once that's broken, then the person threatens to leave or there's conflict. And then what do? You go, oh, okay, how about we offer you $1 more, $2 more? What will it take for you to stay? A lot of times once trust is broken, even though they take that initial raise and don't leave right away,
Oh my
they
God, you know what?
sometimes we're not recording.
Are we recording? Oh, yes, we are. Okay, good. We're recording. Sorry. Okay, sorry.
Well, I was going to wrap up that section. It's hard because sometimes that raise is just temporary. And how often do we still see those people leave after we like give them all these perks and pay raises after that trust is broken? They still think about it. They still have resentment, and that's hard to repair. So value each other and value people. Don't break that trust.
Okay, so do you not love the fact that for a second there I was like, wait, are we recording? This is so good. There's so many conversations that we have that I was like, God, if only I had, we could be recording this. So,
Yeah.
do you believe that trust can be rebuilt?
Yes, if the person that broke it shows true regret and apologizes and works to be a better person. I mean, there's just some things that can't be resolved, but yeah, there's other things that they sure can, but that takes work then to
Yes.
rebuild it. But it's possible.
Yes, I agree. I have had trust rebuilt with various people in my life, and you have to work at it. And words are just words, people. It's all about the actions. You got to walk in what you talk. So remember that. So, my takeaway that I'm going to say is, which I love this one, if you're starting to feel exhausted or you're feeling like you've had energy vampires around you and you're feeling like there's just this unhappiness around you, there is something for you to look at with that. Because if you know, happiness is a choice, right? You can see my sign that's behind me on YouTube or video. Happiness is a choice, and you need to choose your happiness. Because I think so often we choose to sit in the muck because we settle, and don't settle when it comes to your happiness. This is what I always say. You have only so much time on this earth. Don't waste your time giving to things or other people expecting something to change when it's not going to change. You need to make that change, and that means choosing happiness in yourself. That's my jam.
Nice.
Thanks. What's yours? Go for the next one.
The next one, you know, opportunity for growth. You know, was work's kind of easy, right? If you go to a workplace, and you're looking to keep climbing the ladder and increase your income and be challenged more, when you go to a place, is there opportunity? Or when you apply there in that position you get, is it kind of a dead end position? And do you want to be doing it for the rest of your life or until you retire? And I don't know why, but on Instagram just recently, I keep getting it. The Japanese proverb of if you get on the wrong train, it's a lot more expensive the longer you stay on it.
Oh, that's funny.
So it's like so many of us, because it's comfort, right? It's safe. Well, what else am I going to do? I don't know enough. I'm too old. We, so many of us limit ourselves and what we think our potential is. And we settle and we kind of go into what they call a dead end job. In relationships, it can be, two people that want to work to become better versions of themselves and grow together, that growth. And if you don't have that and you become complacent, well, guess what? Pretty much that relationship typically goes complacent. You're not as close. You're kind of just like housemates instead of, partners.
Partners. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
growth on both ends is beneficial. Your
Well,
thought?
100%. And I think that the coolest thing about meeting you and reconnecting with you is watching one another's growth, right? Like watching one another grow into the spaces, if it's learning how to communicate better, or if it is our growth that we have had out in the mountains together, watching each other excel, try new things, be together as partners that neither one of you nor I have had in the past. And I think that that's been super fun to witness and to be a part of. So
Yeah,
100%.
I agree. I agree.
So my next space would be when you start ignoring the red flags, you're going to have you're going to get burned, people. You're going to get burned hard. And so if you see a red flag, there are white flags. White flags are like things are good. And then there are the red flags. And a lot of times we choose to turn the eye away from the red flags. And if there is a red flag, stop and take a note of it and start to also see the patterns of the red flags, right? And so the red flag is there for a reason. I like to also call them godwinks, where it's like, hey, knock, knock, knock. There's something here. You need to look at it. And I know in my own past, I had stayed in situations and places far longer because I chose to believe the other person or to stay in the job that wasn't making me happy, and I'd make excuses for it because I was like, well, I just give them the benefit of the doubt or whatever it is.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, you actually are devaluing yourself and your own ability to see things as they are. And so the best thing that you can do when you see a red flag is act on it.
Yeah. That kind of goes back to our last session. That's if you see the red flag too, and it's something you would like to see change or you think you could work on, that's an opportunity for communication. Say, hey, what just happened there? I feel like, that's not cool.
Yep. 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 And as we're talking about that communication piece right now, Christian just texted, "Hey, are you okay? You're not answering my text messages." And so I had to text him back and say, "I'm good, babe. I'm on a podcast."
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
okay.
nice.
Just wanted to make sure. I know. You good? So 100% agree with you on that one. 100%. Yep. So what's next?
We each get three. Is that what it was?
Each get three. You're going to
Okay.
love my third. I changed my third.
What did you? Well,
Mhm.
my third is value. Does your partner or your workplace value you? Did they reward you for doing a good job? Did they take an interest in you? You know, do they have one-on-one conversations and get to know you better, better relationships at work and with a partner or any relationship? Do they value you or and respect you?
Mhm.
Um, and then when you look at both places too, we both remember the 80-20 rule. In my workplace now, that's how we started out, oh God, it's probably been over 5, 6, maybe it's 10 years ago. I don't know. But also when we look at each other or our workplace, don't just focus on those few bad things that may never change. Like maybe it's like, what are the good things too? So weigh your pros and cons, but don't just look at what's bad. Maybe when you think about it and you show gratitude for all the other good things, um, at my company now, I can say so many good things, and that's easy for me. We're in a different place now than we were way back then. So don't always focus on those few things, right? Look at the big picture too.
Remind everybody, what is the 80-20 rule?
Oh, so if we spend 80% of our time like worrying about those few small things or 80% of our time doing things that aren't bringing value, um, then you need to stop doing that, right? So like when we looked at our customer base, so like who do we have to focus on? We have all this, and we're spending so much time with all this 80% down here, but the 20% up here are
At
the
the
ones that
top.
are all giving us. So it's
Yeah.
like you can flip it each way too. So in a relationship, you could say, well, 80% of the things about you, Sarah, are amazing. So why am I focusing on these 20% of things that are like little irritable things that are like everybody has them, right?
Right.
So it's like,
Do I have them? No, I'm
no, you
kidding.
don't. I was just using it as an example for our people.
I'm just joking. Of course I do.
But you know what I mean? It's like we spend so much time trying to control the things we can't change instead of focusing on ourselves and getting a good place so we can become that best version and give our best to our partner and our work. And I think you do both, you practice it both sides, and that's how it should be because that's the balance. It
Yes.
shouldn't just be for work or just for your relationship. You should bring that, you know,
All the
both
way
sides.
around.
Yeah.
So my third thing is it's more of a tool that I talk about. Actually, I talk about this in my speaking engagement. I teach this across the board when I'm leading retreats. Ask yourself, this version of self who's taken their last breath. And for me, I think it's going to be when I'm 108. You're going to be 109 because you're about a year older than me. Um, I ask my 108-year-old self that simple question of what would you want for me? Would you want me? What would you say to me? Right? Like, would you want me to stay in this job? Would you want me to leave this relationship? What advice would your elder version of self tell yourself right now? And if that version is saying, okay, you're gonna regret not leaving, or I want you to try something new, or I believe that you can do this, listen to that version of self because that version of self is in you right now too. You're growing
Right.
into that version of self. And so it's been one of the greatest tools that I use a lot. I use that a lot. I mean, literally, like, what would she want from me right now? Would she be proud of me right now? Would she be happy for me right now? Would she be my biggest cheerleader right now in the space that I'm in? Or would she be like, oh, the biggest therapist?
Yeah.
Which one would she be? The biggest cheerleader of like, good go girl? Or would she be like, yo, I'm going to be therapying you right now, you know?
Yeah.
So that is a really good tool for you to move forward if you're feeling stuck or if you are unsure. Simply ask that future version of self. What do you think about that?
I agree. Reflection does a lot, even day-to-day reflection. What could I have done better today? Could I have been more focused and spent more time with my kids? Could I have, maybe stayed a little bit later, got up a little bit earlier to get something done that I pushed off? But reflecting on, did I live a fulfilling life? Because as far as we know, we got this one on earth, right? And it goes by quick. And so, right, make the most of it. So when you have that last breath, you're not going to say, dang, I wish I would have, dug one more hole or spent one more day in the office or, it's always that quality time and that happiness that you wish you would have had more of.
Yeah. That was my son again, by the way, dinging through. Okay, good, good. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Agree with you 1,000%. And I think we do a really good job of that. We're also very cognizant and aware of how much time and energy that we have on this earth, I feel like. And so
Mhm.
we even choose our adventures very carefully because we're like, okay, we have 3 days. Let's make sure it's high impact, that we get
Right.
in everything that we both need, that we get a little bit of R&R and a lot of adventure, and make sure that we have something that's going to push us and also where we can just like chill at night, watch the stars, the northern lights, hopefully this weekend. And,
Yeah.
and
Appreciate the beauty of nature,
yeah,
the mountains, the glaciers, the lakes, the snow.
yeah, yeah. So, is there anything else that you would like to add to any of these six? And then I'm going to round it out with one last question from you.
Oh, really? To round it out, I just want to say we're not telling everybody leave whatever you're doing, whatever relationship
Oh gosh,
or
no.
job you're in, like giving your notice tomorrow. Just, sometimes you need to, right? I mean, I know there's many of you that are very happy where you are, but we can all just always be better and put
Yeah.
that effort in. But we're not telling everybody to leave.
No, no, please no. That said, if you are stuck, these are some really good tools that both of us have used to move ourselves forward and make those big decisions of like, when do you know that it's time to move on?
Oh, and just like I know you have some good ones, and I do too. Also, if you, it's a lot, the communication part, look for a mentor or somebody
Yeah.
to give you advice too, that could help guide you in those decisions.
Do you have any last thoughts or because I'm going to share a quick story of something that happened on one of my retreats that was very interesting. Is there any last minute things that you want to add about those times that you have made those decisions to leave, and how did you know that it was time?
Oh, yeah, it just came to me right there. I remember there's a period where I was like, I just wanted more. Like I was hungry for money, learning new things. And so it was about every 2.5 years, I was going to a better opportunity. And I remember my dad, who grew up in a very, family with safe jobs, working for the state. You stay there, you play it safe, and you retire from that one place. And he said to me one day, his intentions were good. He was just worried, but he said, Joe, if you keep changing jobs, nobody will want to hire you.
Oh, my dad said the same thing.
And I was like, I look back on that now, and every move in the company I'm at now, and all the things I do, and the people I've met, it's just everything has become better. And I just look at him, and I know he has a lot of regret. He wishes he would have did more and stuff like that, but he played it safe, and and I don't want to. I mean, like I said, that wasn't for me. But so many people are told to just play it safe. And it's kind of depressing, right? I mean, what you work 55 some years to retire and enjoy it for 11? I mean, no, thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you. So I'm going to share a story that was very funny. I was funny, not funny, actually. It was pretty interesting. I was leading a retreat down into the Grand Canyon, which here's a shameless plug. We have one in June. So if you're interested, please make sure that you message me, Sarah at sarahschultencrans.com, so we can get you in. Anyhow, so we, there's a shameless plug.
There
So
you go.
we were in the Grand Canyon. It was a group of women, and there was one that she kept asking, like, how do you know when it's time to leave? And we climbed out of the canyon, and it was an amazing, amazing time down there. 2 nights, like 3 days, just incredible climbing. And we got out, and it was a long, hard climb out, but it was beautiful. And she went to her room, and the next thing I know, her roommate came knocking on my door, and she said, Sarah, so and so needs you, hurry up. And it was literally like we had just gotten to our rooms. And I'm like, oh gosh, what happened? So I ran in there and I said, what's going on? And she put her phone down and she said, I just told my husband we need to separate and I want a divorce. I said, what?
Wow.
I know. I said, what? I was like, okay. I said, that was officially the fastest change that I have had from a client coming out of the canyon. I mean, we had literally just made it back to our rooms. I said, what was it? And she's like, what was like the flip, right? Like, what made you make this decision? And she said, it was to the effect of like, she felt so much happiness and she felt so much joy and accomplishment and independence and like, wow, this is what it is to live. And when she felt that, she decided, she was like, I can't have anything but that. I don't want anything but that. And so that was her resonant choice of like, I'm out. I'm going to do this. And I think that what can be very helpful for people is to get outside of your comfort zone and experience what it is to live, try something new. And when you step out of that comfort zone and you try something new and you feel that sense of freedom and like, wow, this is my why, right? My why is to live ultimately. It's everybody's. That's ultimately in every one of us. And when you can experience that, there's no going back. And I think that that's what you have also experienced in your life from what I've witnessed and watched through your growth, and then myself included. I mean, that's why I'm like, I need more of that because that to me is being in touch with my soul and my inner being of who I am. And once you get that, man, you don't want to go back to anything else. So
No.
it was awesome. She had so much growth in such a short time because of because of having that experience of what it is to live again.
Yeah. I mean, you just feel like a whole weight's been lifted off. And probably for her husband too. Sometimes both people stay there because, whether it's kids or the safety of the job. Um, but it is not good to stay if you're not happy. It's not healthy. And
No.
your client just, when she did that, it was like she felt so good. And we both can attest to times like that because it was almost like this weight was lifted off of you finally. And um, yeah, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that there's not work on the other side of
Mm,
that. You have to do a lot of work to get through that muck in order to feel that light on the other side or to experience
right.
that. On the other hand, though, I don't know about you, but man, once you start elevating in one part of your life, you start elevating in all parts of your life. And so, it's like this freedom to rise and to break those barriers and to smash through those obstacles. And it's the coolest thing. I felt it. I've had that. I've had that in my when I finally let go in my personal life, man, my professional life, and the things that I've experienced. I never would have done a TED Talk. I never would have written the book. I never would have run the retreats. I would never have been doing keynote speaking. I would never all these things that I would never have only because I made that choice to leave when it was like, okay, it's time for me to move on. And again,
Right.
we're not telling you to leave, people. We're saying there are some key things to look at if you're feeling stuck and like asking yourself, what do I do? So
Yeah. Kind of an example of learning from failure, right? When you
yeah,
learn from it instead of just sulking about it and doing nothing about it, there's nothing wrong with it.
yeah,
We all fail at something. And when you learn from it, that's a beautiful thing because then you can communicate. When you get in that next relationship, you learn from all those things of not having good communication, not having trust. You learn from that and you can become a better version, or you can make no changes and repeat the cycle and wonder why does this keep happening to me? Well,
yeah.
are you choosing to do anything differently at the workplace or in your personal life? Because if you're not, don't expect anything to change. And you can't change other people. You can only change yourself,
And going
theoretically.
theoretically. And what is it? Going a definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, doing the same thing over and over and expecting change is the definition of insanity.
That's insanity. Yep.
Yeah.
So just remember that. Just remember that one. All right, Joe. Cheers from Wisconsin,
Cheers.
California. Thank you for being on. I love you, babe. It's so much fun.
Thank you. Love you too.
And to all of you, please, if this was helpful, share it with others. Drop comments, like Joe said, and let us know what resonated, or maybe you disagree with something, which is totally cool too. And make sure that you go and subscribe, rate, review. Go into YouTube at Sarah Schulten Crayons and watch it, share it, get it out there. And if there's anything that you would like us to talk about next, please let us know and we will make sure of it. We are going to be going on, you know what our next one should be on? Is on our adventure. Ooh,
Mm.
let's talk about the highs and the lows, the disagreements that we have, because we always have some disagreements. I mean, a little ones here and there. Come on, like the one that when we went snowshoeing and I was like, we need to go
Yeah.
this way. And you're at the end of it, and I was so pissy. And you were like, no, we're going this way. I was like, no, it's this way. And then you just took off and you knew I would follow. And sure enough, you were right. So
I didn't
there,
know you would follow. I just was so tired and it wasn't worth arguing about. So
no,
I just thought I'd go up there because I thought I was right. And the parking lot was literally 10 yards up
yeah,
over the hump.
you led by example and I followed and you were right.
But
There
I
you go.
learned a tremendous amount from you out there for sure.
So we're going to head into the mountains for a couple of days of snowshoeing. And so we will definitely, we should make that one our next. Oh, can we? Yeah, we'll make one of them. We'll make an episode about it. That would be fun. Maybe
But
we'll record it out
yeah,
there.
would be really cool if people threw topic ideas. That'd be kind of fun
Yeah.
to
Yes.
amuse us,
Yeah.
challenge us,
Do it to it. Send us some. We will
allow us to
absolutely do it.
grow.
Please drop them in. And that's about it. Go ahead and please share with other people and make sure that you tag us, and we will reshare with our community as well. Love to all of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And anything else, Joe?
Peace out.
Peace out, everyone. Okay, bye.
Bye.